Hey everyone, we just had the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer drop on the internet, and it is so much fun to watch if you're a Spider-Man fan. I'm already excited about the storyline. I loved the first movie. It's probably one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man movies. Yes, I know, people are going to debate it, but to me that was one of my all-time favorites because I like all the characters they had in it. And what they showed in this one was Spider Haven or Spider Castle or wherever all the Spider people are going to be. And they basically teased us with so many different Spider individuals. So I thought it would be fun to go through a list of the ones that I saw in the trailer, and then the ones that you guys found on Twitter, and the ones that this article I found also reference are in the trailer. So let's talk about all of the Spider-Man and where they come from in that trailer that I know off the top of my head. And today's episode is brought to you by Gamer Supps. Get yourself energy using another one of those powder supplements, but this one's less chalky than a lot of its competitors. Use the code COMICS at checkout to support this channel and support these videos. Now, let's get into all the different Spider-Man. The first one that I'm super excited about is the PlayStation 4 Insomniac's Spider-Man. That's the Spider-Man, basically the Peter Parker and the Miles Morales from that universe. We saw a slight cameo of them in the background, seemingly talking to each other about what's going on. What's really cool about this is in the, I guess, Spider-Man comic that was related to that weird gamerverse they were trying to call it, there was a scene in that comic where he was even invited to join this. So it kind of links up that he is now a part of this movie. I feel like if the movie had come out on a time, all of that would have lined up better, but you know, with all the COVID delays and stuff like that. But this does confirm that the Insomniac Spider-Man is in the movie. Another one that has the entire internet freaking out is a brief glimpse at Superior Spider-Man. Now, Superior Spider-Man is from a brief portion of Dan Slott's run. I say brief, but it was like 2 years, in which Doc Ock took over Peter Parker's body and showed him that he was the Superior Spider-Man, only to lose that right when he wasn't able to save the one that he loved. So he gave the body back to Peter Parker, admitting Peter Parker is the better Spider-Man. But multiple times, Superior Spider-Man has popped into the Across the Spider-Verse stuff in general. So seeing him in here is awesome. In the same scene as Insomniac Spider-Man and Miles, we also got to see the armored suit. And I got into a little bit of debate about this one, but I think it's the bulletproof suit. That's what I was told by Sal from Comic Pop. I'm not 100% sure on that because it kind of reminded me of some of the newer Spider-Man in the new Dan Slott Spider-Man run. I think it was Spider Dancer or the Spider-Man who does like the clothing and fashion stuff in the new Dan Slott run, but that's who one of these two reminded me of. The armored suit showed up, and I believe it was Amazing Spider-Man 100 or something 100, but he basically got an armored suit to fight the bad guys. There was really nothing else behind it. He just got an armored suit. And then we got Bombastic Bagman, which is hilarious because Bombastic Bagman, it comes out of a time period when Spider-Man got rid of the symbiote suit, and he did this at the Fantastic Four headquarters, so they had no clothes to go back with. So they gave him basically a loner Fantastic Four suit, and they gave him a paper bag to protect his face. That's that funny suit you see in a lot of stuff. But since I don't think Sony has the rights to use Fantastic Four, they just have him carrying more stuff in front of the logo, so you can't see it, but they didn't alter it. So it's like one of those, if you know kind of moments, but if you don't know, it just looks funny. And then we have our first big kind of what is going on with this one. So Spider-Woman is in here, and her design reminds me of Misty Knight. So this is supposed to be Jessica Drew, but she has more of an afro. She's a black woman instead of a white woman. The entire design looks like out of the more current run. Now, she could easily be Jessica Drew from an alternate reality. We're literally dealing with an entire multiverse of spider people, but she's very prominent. She also spreads webs from her fingertips, which is something that Silk does. It's not something that Jessica Drew does. So who this character is, I don't really know, but it looks like it's going to be someone from an alternate timeline. So it's a Jessica Drew that we don't know, but as a way to bring in Spider-Woman and kind of create their own version of Spider-Woman. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this character. There's also an image that is going around of what appears to be Spider-Cop. Now, Spider-Cop was a joke that, as far as I know, started in the Insomniac Spider-Man. It may have come something out of one of the comic books, but I'm pretty sure Spider-Cop started there. I might be wrong because it's a very obscure reference, but people are also calling him Spider-Man, the security guard, Spider-Man, the parking mall attendant, things like that. So it's an interesting image. I don't know what it truly is because we literally just have a Spider-Man in an outfit being like, go that way. And of course, we have Peter B. Parker back, and they've also released an image of what his daughter looks like. But Peter B. Parker is obviously wearing this pink robe. He's just having the best life he's ever had. He's the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man from the original movie, the one who was kind of like down at his luck. So it's going to be great to see him come back and bring his daughter with him. I didn't catch this one, but it's on Twitter. But apparently there is a Spider-Wolf, which is the werewolf version of Spider-Man that popped up very briefly. I believe it's technically a what if, but it's just a storyline with a werewolf and Spider-Man. It's interesting, but people are saying he's in the background. I didn't catch that one, but he is in there. And we have the obvious one, Spider-Man 2099. Now, in the proper Marvel timeline, they claim that 2099 is a future that is going to happen in the Marvel Universe. At 2099, they reintroduced a whole bunch of characters. Spider-Man was one of those, Spider-Man 2099, and he became the most popular 2099 character still arriving today in various books and in various sides of the entire Spider-Man mythos. But we already knew he was going to be in the movie because he was the post-credit scene from the first one, but this is more confirmation. Why he looks jacked as all hell, I don't know, but he's super buff. I'm thinking they did that so that he would stand out amongst all of these Spider people. And we got Spider-Punk. Now, Hobart Hobie Brown actually isn't a Peter Parker. And he had his own comic book, which I didn't read past the first issue. I loved the art, the intro story, but I kind of forgot it was even coming out. But Spider-Punk is just a design, an individual who loves punk rock and is Spider-Man. We've also got Spider-Man Unlimited, apparently, just bouncing around. Spider-Man Unlimited is from a cartoon series in which they weren't allowed to use Spider-Man, but they were. So they chose to put him into his own universe where it was him and Venom, a brand new design, everything. Few people remember that cartoon existed, but I do, and apparently so does Across the Spider-Verse. There's also Mangaverse Spider-Man, which was an entire retelling of Spider-Man's origins if it was a manga kind of a thing. He pops up for a brief second in this trailer as well. In one of the brief scenes, you can kind of see Iron Spider in the background. I guess that would be a universe where he kept the suit. Iron Spider is actually a suit that he got from the Civil War event. That's where that whole thing happened. There's also a scene from the cast from Renew Your Vows. We can briefly see Mary Jane and his daughter in that timeline, who goes by the name Spinneret. They're both over there. There's also a second Spinneret. We assume it's the one with the multiple arms, but she just kind of tackles him, spins him around, throws him aside. All of these are just Easter eggs. I mean, we don't really know how in depth we're going to get into any of them, if we're going to get anything at all. And those are all the ones that I was able to find and that I could find on Twitter that people had found that I didn't find yet. So let me know in the comments down below who else you found, because I can almost guarantee with the way that shot goes over so many different Spider-Men that there's going to be even more that I didn't recognize or I don't know. Some of them just look like generic suits to me, like Armored Spider-Man and Iron Spider, but maybe there's more to it that even I'm not fully tracking. And of course, I don't even think any of these guys are going to get any real significant roles in the movie. I'm pretty sure that most of them are just going to be, hey, look at them in this one scene. But either way, like I said, all these different suits, all these different characters, some are significant in the lore of Spider-Man, some are just suits that he's worn in the past. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys a little bit later this week when we go over Dark Web, another Spider-Man-oriented thing. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, GamerSupps. Use the code COMICS at checkout. Get yourself an energy drink that's a little less chalky than its competitors, and get yourself some Sus Bars, where low calorie, but they taste just like Rice Krispie treats, or you can get the waifu shirts and waifu cups, all from our new sponsor. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time right here.